You guys can have the bottom right here, okay?
Thank you.
Enjoy. You guys will have the bottom left. Enjoy.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, Bronx Zoo explorers, and welcome aboard the Wild Asia Monorail. My name is Freddie, and I'm going to be your guide and driver today, and you're all going to be our field science and training. After we cross the Bronx River, we're going to be transported to Asia as by magic. We're going to be seeing animals from China to India, Cambodia to Baltimore. For your safety, everyone, you must remain seated at all times with your hands and feet inside the car. And just like that, everybody, we just arrived 7,000 miles from Asia. So some of the first few animals you may notice in this meadow are India's national bird, the peafowl. The peacocks are the males. Those are the ones with the long colorful feathers in which they use to attract the females, which are the peahens. As you may have already noticed, the peafowl are the only free-roaming animals we have here at the Bronx Zoo. Now, for more information on this meadow, why don't we take a listen to one of our field scientists.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm part of the Wild Asia Keeper team. We call this area Kanha Meadow, where we care for about 40 Barasingha deer, 15 axis deer, 10 black buck, and a pair of muntjac. We start our day by checking on all the animals, making sure they are healthy, behaving normally, and safe. Sometimes, fawns and calves are born overnight. Newborns are given a neonatal exam, which includes weighing, vaccination, and tagging for identification purposes. While the animals are in the meadow, we prepare their nighttime holding areas so that they have a safe and clean place to spend the night.
Farmers in Indonesia live closely with wild animals, like elephants, which we will see shortly. WCS field staff work with local leaders and farmers in Indonesia to come up with the Crop Protection Unit. This unit created many different ways for farming to continue in close proximity of wild animals. One strategy was to soak ropes in chili powder and place them around the crops. Elephants do not like chili and leave the farms alone, allowing the farmer and the animals to share the habitat peacefully.
This next area, we're about to see some Mongolian wild horses, also known as Przewalski's horse. Today, they are extinct in nature. They can only be primarily found in zoos. As you get a good look at some of these horses, I want you to think about for a moment, what are some differences you may notice between them and the domesticated horses that we're so used to seeing over here. Well, you may have noticed that they have a stockier build and shorter legs. They also have an erect mane. This means the mane sticks directly up. Their mane is also missing the forelock. That is a piece of mane that rests on the board of the horse. I think it's also interesting to note that similarly to the zebra, their backs are too weak to be put to work. Now, for more information on these horses, why don't we take another listen to one of our field scientists.
I'm Jonathan Slatt, and I'm the Russia and Northeast Asia coordinator for the Wildlife Conservation Society. I believe that wildlife has a place on this earth. My job is to find practical solutions that allow people and wildlife to thrive together. Przewalski's horse went extinct in the wild in the 1960s. And on a recent trip to Kazakhstan, I thought about the ongoing successful efforts in that country to bring these horses back to the Central Asian steppe. The world needs happy stories. Watch the impossible become possible, and to see hope restored. And that's what's happening today here at Przewalski's horse.
The Bronx Zoo received its first animal since 1902 today. We've had 50 Przewalski's horse foals born right here at the Bronx Zoo. This next area, we're going to be on the lookout for some gaur. The gaur are the largest wild cattle in the world. Looks like we do have this little hill covering the way. Once we pass this hill, we should be able to get a good view of some of these gaur. It's going to be a little difficult to see, but if you turn your heads to the right, looks like the gaur are the other side of the exhibit. You see some of their heads poking out. The males can weigh over 2,000 pounds, which is the equivalent to a small car. They stand up to 6 feet tall, and they can be 10 feet long. With their large size and impressive horns, a gaur can take on just about any predator. That's including a tiger. What threatens these huge animals the most is the loss of their ancient habitat and the diseases they can catch from massive cattle. And don't worry, once you get over to that side of the exhibit, we should be able to get a good view of the gaur. In the meantime, as we practice our scientific observation skills, might be hearing a noise coming from the concrete jungle rather than a natural one. I think it's easy to forget that the Bronx Zoo sits at the heart of an urban environment. But the noise you hear coming from behind us right now is just traffic on the Bronx Parkway. If you look straight ahead, you may have noticed that we have a fence built. That's to reduce some of the noise from the incoming traffic, so we don't scare this next animal that we're about to see. Once again, I would like to remind you all that you must remain seated at all times. Once we round this bend over here, we're going to be on the lookout for a tiger. Tiger stripes provide excellent camouflage, so they can be difficult to spot. Even professional researchers have difficulties locating tigers in the wild. However, if you look towards the top of the hill, you should be able to see the tiger right there. We only have one tiger in this exhibit, and that's because tigers are solitary animals. This means that they prefer to be alone once they reach adulthood.
Monorail platform to train 4. Disregard.
Tigers hunt a variety of animals, but they prefer to eat wild pig and medium-sized deer. Typically, a tiger will gorge on itself, eating as much as 40 pounds of meat at one time. That's the equivalent to 160 hamburgers. Today, due to habitat loss, lack of prey and poaching, tigers' numbers have been severely reduced. With only 3,000 tigers surviving in the wild, and only 1,000 of those are breeding females. You'd probably have an easier time fighting a tiger in the state of Texas than you would in the wild.
WCS works with many species of tigers in the wild and at the zoo. Here is a note from one of our field scientists about his experience working with rangers to protect tigers in Indonesia.
Hi, my name is Prabhu Ramana. Helping the rangers of the national park in doing their forest patrol. There was a time when we found some tigers in the jungle. But then we also found that some snares are installed inside the forest, which become threats to the area. We dismantle the snares to make sure that the tigers are safe.
And over here we can see some big brown deer. These are the Barasinga deer. Barasinga means 12th sign in the Hindi language. That's because the male deer's antlers can grow 12 to 14 different points. In just a few moments, we're about to see a pig with upper tusks that erupts at the top of its snout and curves backwards towards its eyes. This pig is called a babi rusa. Babi rusa means pig deer in the Malay language, and appropriately so. Their skin color involves in spawn multi monolithic rocks, so they can be tricky to spot sometimes. So over here we have a female babi rusa running along the bamboo. We can tell that that is a female because they do not have tusks, whereas the males have tusks in which they use to fight off other males in order to display dominance to attract the females. Now don't worry, if you miss the babi rusa, this next animal is going to be pretty difficult to miss. Over here, we have our Asian elephant Patty. Once again, I would like to remind you all that you must remain seated at all times. First thing you may notice about Patty is her enormous size. An Asian elephant can weigh up to 10,000 pounds and they do have to eat a lot of vegetation. For example, Patty can eat up to 200 pounds of hay each day and drink up to 60 gallons of water. An Asian elephant's trunk is an incredible tool as it has 40,000 muscles. And at the end of their trunk, they have a finger-like digit they can use to either gently pick up an egg or pick up a tree in enormous forest. Asian elephants get lots of personal attention here at the Bronx Zoo, including baths and pedicures.
WCS works in the field with both African and Asian elephants. Here is a note from our field scientists who work with Asian elephants.
My name is Donny Gunaryadi, and I'm the Elephant Conservation Coordinator for WCS Indonesia. The first time I saw a Sumatran elephant, I thought, this is a magnificent creature. They will be safe because they are so big. But the truth is, they have declined 50% since the 1980s. Even though rats and insects cause more damage to crops than elephants, because the elephant is so huge, psychologically, it seems more threatening. So when there is conflict, the farmers poison the elephants. In response, we created a crop protection unit to mitigate conflict and send the elephants back into the forest. And it's been a huge success. Since we started in 2003, no elephants and no people have been killed.
So for those of you sitting in the first few cars, if you look towards your left, you should be able to see an Indian rhino. Today, Indian rhinos are highly endangered, with only 2,000 Indian rhinos surviving in India and Nepal. Here at the Bronx Zoo, we care for 5 endangered Indian rhinos. Now, caring for this very animal is one thing, Indian Nepal. However, breeding them can be a huge challenge, as an Indian rhino could remain pregnant for up to 16 months. Any moms on board, imagine that. Many people like to describe rhinos as armor-plated, but they're actually covered with a layer of skin that has many folds. Although the skin of the rhino looks thick and tough, it is actually very sensitive and needs protection from the sun, as well as from insects. One of rhino's favorite ways to protect its skin is by sitting in a mud wallop.
The rhinos you see here are Indian rhinos. We work with habitats all over the world that are homes to rhinos. Here is a note from our field office in Sumatra, and Mulan, who works with the Sumatran rhino. Sumatran rhinos are the smallest of the world's rhinos, and they are considered critically endangered.
My name is Mulan Pusteri, and I'm the Species Conservation Specialist for WCS Indonesia program. We carried out an island-wide survey of the last wild population of Sumatran rhinoceros in Indonesia. With so many unknowns on how to manage Sumatran rhinos in wild or captivity, our study showed definitively that we must protect them at source. The cost of doing nothing could be the extinction of the species, and I can't imagine.
Training forward, last training.
In this next area, we're going to see a variety of different deer species and one kind of antelope. If you look straight ahead, you should be able to see the Sambar Deer. They're the big brown deer towards the center. Looks like there's a dispute among some brothers. Look closely. The male is king. weigh up to 650 pounds. They stand at the 5 feet tall shoulder. Their antlers grow 3 points and grow 3 feet long. In the wild, the males tend to live alone, while the females live in smaller groups.
The monorail platform. 10-4, red at horn.
And over here we have some Gilga Antelope. Not to be confused with the Sambar, they have a lighter colored coat. The Gilga Antelope are the largest of the Asian antelope species. The word Gilga means blue bull in the Hindi language. That's because the males have a bluish-grayish tint to their coat, whereas the females have a yellow-brown color. You can also recognize the males by looking at their horns and the ornaments of the pair at their throat. And for those of you that didn't know, here is the difference between antlers and horns. Antlers are solid bone, branched, and not permanently attached to the skull. So the animal sheds and regrows them every year. Horns are hollow, don't branch, they're permanent. The deer we just saw had antlers, while the antelope had horns. Alright, so due to some train traffic out of us, it is New York City after all, we're just going to make a brief stop. So in this area, we're going to be on the lookout for some Chinese tufted deer. At less than 40 pounds, they can be very easy to miss. Fun fact about this animal, when it makes a noise, it sounds similar to the bark of a dog. I have one towards the top of this hill, all the way towards the back. Just like the white-tailed deer here in New York, the tufted deer is white-tailed rump that's important for deer communication. When they flash their white-tailed rump to other deer, that can alert them of any incoming predators.
Monorail base is train 2 at the platform, requesting permission to return to base.
We're now crossing back over the Bronx River. Thousands of commuters cross this waterway every day. But underneath the highways and our elevated tracks, the river still brushes along, providing a habitat for ducks, turtles, fish, and migrating birds. Whether it's the Bronx River here in New York or the Inner Rhine River in Asia, rivers and streams provide vital resources for wildlife everywhere. As we enter this next area, you may notice we've entered a rockier terrain. That's because this rockier terrain is the perfect environment for the next two species we're going to be discussing today, which are well adept to climbing rocks and trees alike. Over here with the corkscrew-like horns, we have the markhor. The male markhor's horns are up to 5 feet long, whereas the females can only go about 10 inches. You can also recognize the males by looking at their mane, as they tend to have a thicker and larger mane compared to the females. And in just a few moments, I want you to get ready for this next animal that we are about to see. We're about to see our red panda Linus. And of all the red pandas referred to as Hun-Ho, which translates to fire fox. Today we know that red pandas are more closely related to skunks, raccoons, and weasels. They're actually not related to the giant panda at all. However, they do have something in common with the giant panda. They both like to eat bamboo. And for those of you that would like to see some more red pandas today, Why not take a visit to our Himalayan Highlands exhibit? Alright everyone, as we round this final event, our journey is soon coming to an end. You've heard from some of our scientific experts while here in the field, and you've tried out some of your own scientific skills on this ride. We hope you've been inspired by what you've seen and heard today. In addition to managing 5 parks here in New York City, including the Bronx Zoo, Youth Aquarium, Central Park Zoo, Queens Zoo, and the Prospect Park Zoo, and WCS also has scientists in the field of 1 to 3 sites in over 60 different countries. If you'd like to join us saving wildlife and wild places, visit WCS.org to take action. Join our 96 Elephants campaign to save African elephants from poaching. Also protecting British ocean ecosystems by joining our Blue York campaign. Go to blueyork.org for more information. And for those of you looking for something new to do, why not take a visit to the Bronx Zoo's Treetop Adventure? This brand new aerial adventure course is a separate park of the grounds of the Bronx Zoo and offers shooter tree climbing obstacles as well as a zip line across the Bronx River. Go to BronxZooTreetop.com for more information and to make your reservations. So right now we're going to make one more brief stop. Our adventure is now coming to an end. Please remain seated until the train doors open, and watch your step as you're exiting the monorail car. For those of you sitting in the front row, there's going to be a step up. For those of you sitting in the back row, there's going to be a step down. First 6 cars exit towards your right-hand side. Last 2 cars exit towards your left. And for those of you sitting in lucky car number 7, you're going to exit directly ahead. On behalf of the Bronx Zoo, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. And come back and visit us again soon as our animals' behavior sets to differ day by day. Once again, everyone, my name is Freddie, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day here at the beautiful Bronx Zoo.